Stop everything you think you know for a moment and ask yourself, why do life's strangest coincidences often occur right when your patience frays? It might be pure chaos, or maybe it's the universe engineering a subtle test. We often chalk it up to chance, but there's an undercurrent of mystery that deserves our full attention. If you've ever felt that uncanny nudge guiding you forward or setting you back, you might sense there's more happening than random events. Imagine crossing paths with an old friend moments after thinking about them, or you're inches from losing your composure, only to have a sudden, unexpected interruption realign your focus. These micro moments can either push you into frustration or propel you toward deeper understanding. Why is it that we sometimes experience a sharp reminder of what truly matters precisely when our temper is about to snap? Could the universe be orchestrating these meaningful coincidences, urging us to evolve? Before you dismiss this as mere superstition, consider the ancient teachings of Zen Buddhism, which assert that silence and acceptance are catalysts for profound growth. Couple that with modern psychology's perspective on personal transformation, and you'll find a surprising overlap. Calmness in adversity can unlock deeper insight. So, if you think you're on the brink of losing it, hold on. There's a bigger revelation waiting, and it has everything to do with how the universe tests you. Instead of immediate indignation, imagine leaning into a sense of wonder. The smallest shift in perspective might reveal an entire world of hidden signals, each designed to show you something crucial about your internal state. It's an unseen puzzle, a cosmic riddle, and it's only the beginning. Have you ever noticed how seemingly disconnected events converge at precisely the right moment? A phone call out of the blue, a fleeting thought that manifests in reality days later, or a random sign that resonates with a problem you've been ruminating over? In Zen Buddhism, these moments are seen as small awakenings, windows into a deeper current of interconnection. Psychology calls them synchronicities, meaningful coincidences that tug at our sense of reason, suggesting that maybe everything is not random at all. Yet every time we experience one, there's doubt. Are we tricking ourselves into seeing patterns in chaos, or is there a genuine universal script encouraging our growth? If you're skeptical, consider the studies that show how our brains, primed by intention, begin to notice opportunities and meaningful patterns we would have otherwise ignored. It's akin to a hidden tutorial, prompting us to reflect on what we truly need to learn at that moment, whether it's patience, empathy, or merely the ability to stay calm under pressure. The real question is, who or what wants you to learn these lessons? Are these cosmic pop quizzes random side effects of a mathematically improbable universe, or signposts carefully placed to test your emotional readiness? If you let these moments slip by, you might miss the key to unraveling your next stage of personal growth. Then again, paying too much attention to them could border on obsession. Where's the balance? That's the real puzzle. Suddenly you realize the pattern you thought you recognized might be incomplete. Just when you think you've found a formula, something to explain away every coincidence, a new twist emerges. Perhaps you're certain that maintaining a cool head wards off negativity, and then your car breaks down during rush hour. You tell yourself it's mechanical failure, pure and simple, but in the quiet that follows, you hear something else. A faint reminder that your patience is still in question. It's as if the universe conspires to break your routine just enough to see how you react. Will you succumb to frustration, or will you pivot, using the disruption to find a deeper meaning? This is the pattern interrupt, a jolt that forces you to question the assumptions you've carried for far too long. Psychology describes such experiences as cognitive dissonances, moments when reality challenges our internal scripts, creating a tension that can be either destructive or transformative. Zen teachings encourage us to embrace these interruptions wholeheartedly. They suggest that the moment we cling to a preconceived notion, we forfeit opportunities to see reality as it is. The real challenge is to remain curious and flexible, seeing each interruption not as a roadblock, but as an invitation to recalibrate. Imagine a scenario where everything you label unfortunate is simply a well-timed opportunity to grow. Could your most frustrating fear be the doorway to your biggest breakthrough? Let's talk about the emotion underneath these cosmic tests. Think of the last time your heart pounded with anger or disappointment. That raw, visceral surge can either drive you towards self-destruction or open a channel to deeper self-awareness. Zen monks often delve into their emotions not by acting them out, but by quieting the mind until the emotions reveal their roots. In that silence, a new perspective often emerges, one that turns distress into a guide rather than a tormentor. From a psychological standpoint, emotions are signals, like an internal compass pointing you toward unresolved issues or unmet needs. When a bizarre coincidence makes you clench your fists, it might be nudging you to examine your triggers. Why does this random event provoke such an intense reaction? Perhaps it mirrors an old wound or a hidden doubt about your capabilities. Recognizing this can be a profound step toward personal evolution if you have the courage to look beneath the surface. Here's where it gets personal. The universe might be testing you by sending repeated emotional cues, each designed to bring your attention to a dimension of your psyche that you've overlooked. Accepting anger or sadness as a teacher rather than an enemy can reframe every coincidence, every frustration into a moment of introspection. There's a reason these emotional anchors keep charting your course. They aim to guide you toward genuine clarity and peace. Now that we've surveyed the raw emotional undercurrents, it's time to shift gears. Momentum doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It builds when you decide to interpret life's challenges as catalysts rather than setbacks. Think of that friend who always bounces back, no matter what blindsides them. They aren't necessarily luckier, they're just masters at generating momentum. Sure, they encounter the same cosmic hurdles and disbelief in coincidences, but they harness each test, each uncanny synchronicity to refine their outlook. In psychology, there's a concept called post-traumatic growth, which argues that adversity can create resilience if it's met with the right mindset. Instead of lamenting failed plans or misfortunes, a shift occurs where you look at each fiasco and ask, what am I missing here? When you adopt this approach, every twist of fate feels like an invitation to level up. It's not about ignoring pain or plastering over insecurities. It's about acknowledging the deeper message hidden in the chaos. Zen Buddhism, too, emphasizes persistent practice. Meditation isn't a one-off event. It's a ritual that gradually transforms your perception. In the same vein, building momentum with life's tests requires persistence. Each time you feel that cosmic nudge, be it a golden coincidence or a stark disruption, you respond by pushing forward with even more curiosity. And ironically, the more you lean in, the more alive these universal whispers become, fueling your journey with purpose. You might be wondering if there's a concrete endpoint to these universal trials. The truth is, if the universe truly is your teacher, it rarely hands you a diploma in neat packaging. Instead, you get glimpses of resolution, those moments of clarity where suddenly everything makes sense, as though a puzzle piece finally snapped into place, yet just as quickly, the clarity slips away, replaced by the next question, the next challenge. It can feel like chasing a horizon. But don't mistake this fleeting nature as a failure to conclude. In Zen tradition, enlightenment isn't a permanent state. It's an ever-shifting awareness. That means each time you think you've arrived, life presents another curveball, testing whether you'll cling to your newfound insight or continue to grow. Psychologically, this aligns with the concept of self-actualization. You don't just achieve it once, you keep rediscovering it at higher levels, each crisis revealing a layer of yourself you didn't know existed. Consider how personal breakthroughs often come when you're at the cusp of chaos. You think you've had enough, and suddenly there's an epiphany, a surge of gratitude, or an unexpected solution that arises from the mess. Right now, you might be closer than ever to a powerful revelation. Yet as soon as you've glimpsed it, the universe might shift the stage again, prompting you to expand even more. Why would a teacher let the student graduate before they're truly ready? Imagine you've finally made peace with the idea that everything has meaning, and then it all falls apart. The job you fixed your hopes on evaporates, or a close relationship hits rocky ground. Suddenly, you're faced with the question, was I reading too much into these coincidences? Have I been a fool for trusting in universal guidance? This is the unexpected twist, the moment that invites you to question the entire framework you've built so carefully. It's not as simple as returning to a purely nihilistic view. By now, you've likely sensed too many strange synchronicities to dismiss them entirely. Instead, you might find yourself in a harsh spotlight, forced to confront which beliefs are illusions and which are guiding truths. In psychology, these moments can be likened to existential crises, episodes where the foundation of your worldview trembles, pushing you to reconstruct your sense of meaning in a more resilient way. Zen teachings tell us that illusions inevitably fall apart to make way for deeper truths. It's not about discarding the notion of universal tests, but refining it. Perhaps the real test isn't believing in cosmic orchestration. It's staying open-minded even when your beliefs are challenged to the core. The universe may be less concerned with whether you think it's testing you and more interested in how you handle the question itself. In those moments of upheaval, what anchors you to your own sanity? Sometimes it's an internal quietude, cultivated by regular meditation or deeply purposeful reflection. That calm nucleus doesn't shield you from pain, but it does allow you to hold steady even as your outer world spins. Call it your Zen core, a still point where you can face both the blessings and the bombs with equal composure. Psychology suggests that this kind of grounding acts as a key protective factor in mental health, enabling individuals to navigate crises without being fully consumed. But let's not gloss over the weight of real, raw emotion. If you're facing heartbreak, betrayal, or even just a string of minor but maddening irritations, it's easy to feel abandoned by any guiding universe. In these darker hours, the genuine test might be to stay open to subtle hints of alignment. Maybe it's the unexpected kindness of a stranger, a sudden piece of good news that shifts your perspective, or a quiet inner voice reminding you that each storm eventually passes. Personal growth isn't glamorous when you're in the thick of struggle, yet if you hold on to that emotional anchor, a mixture of trust and introspection, these trials can gradually compress into pearls of wisdom. That's when you'll catch a glimpse of your deeper capacity for compassion and resilience. And once you realize that capacity, you'll be less likely to rage against the next cosmic glitch. Instead, you'll whisper a small thank you to the lesson that's unfolding. So here we stand at the threshold, tested by coincidence, guided by Zen, and affirmed by psychology's insights into human potential. The universe, in all its enigmatic intricacies, seems to keep throwing us off balance just to see if we'll find a new footing. That begs the question, do you dare to embrace the idea that each challenge, especially the ones that infuriate you, might be a form of divine or cosmic guidance nudging you forward? If any part of you resonates with this notion, if you've ever felt those synchronistic threads pulling you toward unexpected lessons, maybe it's time to consciously lean into the test. The next time frustration bubbles up, pause. Look for hidden synchronicities and question how they might serve your growth. Stop labeling every inconvenience as bad luck. Consider it an invitation to refine your perspective. Push deeper into your Zen practice. Or start one if you haven't. Journal your encounters with bizarre coincidences, see if patterns emerge, and share them with others, sparking a new wave of collective insight. And no one can tell you for certain whether the universe is truly testing you, but you can decide whether each twist of fate will shape you for the better. Are you ready to open your eyes wider, to reevaluate the meaning you assign to every moment? Share your thoughts below. Let's venture into this cosmic puzzle together. And if you're hungry for more untold insights, consider subscribing or exploring related topics, because there's always another layer to uncover.